Wow, I am so honored to be on the stage with this panel of experts. You got it? I'm going to go from experts to legends here, because there's a couple of legends on the stage, but we won't single them out and embarrass them, Dona. First of all, woo, Dona. ATM 20th anniversary once again. Big congratulations to Jasper for pulling this off. Way to go, Jasper!
Woo!
Woo! Thank you for everything. This is called Content Matters, but with the experts we have on the stage, I think we're going to approach one of the most important questions in the music industry, which is, how does an artist grow its fan base, their fan base? But first, before we do that, I'll just have the people introduce themselves so you know who's on the stage if you don't know them already.
Hi, I'm Adam Stanley, so I am head of digital at Warner Music Asia. Been there for just over a year and a bit now. Prior to that, I was at Sony and Universal in Australia for 9 years doing digital strategy. And then prior to that was at streaming startup services in London. So been in digital and content for a little while.
Nice to meet you. My name is Brian Nam. I'm the founder and CEO of Dive Studios. We're the largest digital media publisher for global K-pop fans. Dropped out of college 6 years ago to start this with my brother Eric, who's also a K-pop artist. Since then, we've become the largest, doing anywhere from 60 to 120 million monthly viewers. Just recently crossed 3 billion total views, all across our organic channels that we self-produce all of the content that gets distributed across our channels: Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, etc.
Nice to meet you. And hi everybody, my name is Dona Inthaxoum. Do not confund me with my sister Dani Inthaxoum, who is also in this room.
See if you can find her.
I know a lot of people just
similar.
mistook us today, so yeah, just making sure that you see me. But yeah, my name is Dona, and I lead the music label, international music label partnerships at Meta. I've been with Meta for 6 years and a half, and our job is to drive music products adoption across APAC and EMEA with my team and the labels.
Fantastic, thank you so much. Right, so let's dive in. I mean, I think this is the thing that troubles artists the most, and we have a real panel of superb experts here. So what do you think is the most effective way to grow an artist's audience beyond the fan base that they have now? Maybe Dona can start this one off.
Sure. So I think this is what we call the awareness phase. And from a meta perspective, Reels is the most powerful tool to make it happen because it's a product that is unconnected to the audience. And so it's been very, very successful in Instagram and now on Facebook. It now makes up 50% of the time spent on Instagram. And we've got 4.5 billion reels that are shared across Instagram and Facebook every day. So that's a great tool to start with. From a content perspective, it is actually really important to think about how you can start the content, especially starting with a hook that will allow people to be interested in your content, and then use some vibrant colors and jump onto cultural relevant moments that will enable the conversation. There's also different tools that we make it available to help artists and labels to create better content. So it starts with trial reels. I don't know if anybody in this room has ever tried that, but it really helps you to understand how your reel performs to non-followers. And once you see that this reel is doing very well, then you can actually decide to publish it to all your followers. So that's a great, great way to just test your content. And then on top of that, we have a new app that we just launched. It's called Edits. It's an app that allows you to create content on the go with a lot of features inside and some real-time insights. And another tool that we would say would help you to reach more audiences would be collabs, because it allows you to tap onto another collaborator's audience. So that's really, really important to think about that. And then, of course, like being a social media company, we also have algorithm to consider. So when you think about how your content is going to be distributed across our platform, you have to think about what people would be interested in. And so there are different ways we rank Reels, for example. We look at signals such as the watch time, the engagement, as well as the likelihood that people will be reusing your audio. So that's a great tool. And maybe the last tool that I would say is great to think about is the partnership ads on Reels. We work a lot with the partners, with the labels to make it happen. So when you're an artist, you're a label, and you would like to amplify your content on Reels, you can use partnership ads.
Wow, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think on the collaborations and hook stuff as well, I think for us, for our artists, it's super important to use the collaborations and hooks to drive new audiences. Our team in Hong Kong they used their hook was a real life flash mob, so flash mobs are back, and essentially they had collaborators in terms of other artists that they partnered with to take part in that flash mob. So the whole piece was a flash mob designed to then go viral on Reels, and saw some really good results. They started off to actually recruit a lot of the fans by posting on stories. So they got 53 fans to take part in the flash mob via stories, and then they did the actual event. There was, as well as all of those, there was hundreds of people there capturing that content and then posting that as well, which was awesome. And then the artists that they partnered with, so Raymond Lamb was one of them, and for the artists that created their content and their reels, each of those saw like over a couple of million views as well. So really drove that kind of new audience by tapping into those algorithms and having those collaborators sharing. And then I think like the other piece around trends as well it's super important for new audiences, because your content's going to reach your existing audiences, so you have to tap into something which is going to be a little bit different to reach those new audiences. And so who in here is familiar with Dang Dut?
Done, dude?
Dang Dude, yeah.
Done, dude.
Dang Dude,
We
yeah.
were talking
Good.
about it on this stage.
Okay, great.
A few sessions before with the head of Indonesia for Believe Digital.
Oh, yes, awesome. So obviously a very, very strong genre in Indonesia. That's trending constantly. We were doing some marketing for Somba, for Back to Friends in Indonesia. And so what we actually did was we got some DJ creators to do Dang Dot remixes of Back to Friends, which saw it reach brand new audiences by seeding into the algorithm that it never would have met normally. We got up to number 11 in the Indonesia chart, and still I think kicking around at 15, and the most highest ranked international artist in Indonesia, but it's through kind of tapping into those algorithms with stuff that's trending that drove that. And then when the content's going well, and if you've got collaborators, then using those partnership ads is a good way to kind of boost that. But don't boost stuff that's not working. Only boost the stuff that's working. Yeah.
I just want to ask one quick follow-up question, just because I love flash mobs. Where did you do it in Hong Kong?
It was in Central in Hong Kong.
Right in Central?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's very interesting. I think it also helped that it was 53 guys, because the song was called No Full Frontal, and so it probably helped with 53 guys with no shirt on as well to kind of drive that traction.
So you had the sexy thing going on as well. Got it. Brian?
What was the question? One more time.
So it's about the awareness phase of building your fan base,
Got it.
Getting new fans, building your audience.
Yeah, I think so I think for Dive, we have our own channels, but then we also consult and manage socials for a lot of K-pop artists as well. And I think there's the notion of naturally you want to grow your audience, and people say like maybe how do you reach new audiences? But I actually think of it as like how do you reach more of the people that already enjoy the type of content you're putting out there? Because I look at Meta, Instagram, Facebook as big discovery platforms. It's like how do you find the audiences that care about the stuff that you're putting out online? And so I think if you just follow these two steps, I guarantee it's going to work. I think the first one is know who you're trying to reach. Like, who is your target avatar? What do they look like? What kind of music they listen to? What do they eat? Where do they live? How old are they? Once you have that like visual in your mind, then the second one is creating quality content for that person. And quality content is very much, it's subjective, right? Something that's good to one fan could be bad to another. And so hyper focusing on like, if I'm reaching a K-pop fan, I know they love dance challenges, they like other K-pop artists, like other K-pop music, and creating content that tap into those trends that then reach that audience. And so even for Dive, we know that's our target avatar. So everything we do is around how do you create content that's shareable to other K-pop fans? And I would say Meta has the best analytics to be able to really hone in on like what's working and what's not. Every week, our team, we have a spreadsheet, we track every piece of content, what is the hook rate of every content piece, completion rate, number of shares, watch time, and if you just consistently look at those metrics, over time, your content just keeps growing every week. So would highly recommend that.
Wow, that's great.
We didn't pay him.
Hey, seriously.
I didn't pay him.
Seriously.
I swear.
TikTok doesn't give it to us. They don't show us.
It is true.
Yeah, you don't have to pay him. When you have the command the audience that Facebook does, you don't have to pay him.
We can accept post-payment.
So yeah, that we generally term the awareness phase, and that's maybe attracting the new fan or somebody who wasn't aware of you before. The second phase of it we might call the connection phase. So what drives someone to liking a post to becoming a long-term fan? What is the next stage there? Maybe Adam can jump in on that one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously long-term fans is super important. And for us, we don't always get our artists in market, which is, when they're there to kind of meet the fans face to face and do live shows, they can really kind of connect and you can build that long-term engagement. But content is a really great way to do that whilst they're not there. For us, our artists are human, our fans are human, so kind of leaning on those human connection stories is what we know is going to drive those long-term fans. And it was something that we did for Alex Warren, who hasn't been here yet, and we had to build some really interesting connections without him being there. And so we kind of tapped into a lot of his story. So we did, I think it was like 90 days, and we did like over 40, 50 pieces of content, and it was all around his different aspects. So the sad moments of his life, the funny moments of his life, his relationship, how he got into music, his whole backstory. And then exactly as Brian was saying, we're looking at the analytics to see what's working, what's like trend, or which narratives are driving most of the connection, and then double down on that. And we posted it through reels, carousels, stories to see which kind of formats was really working. And we saw really, really good results. I think the content overall had about 20 million views just around those 40 pieces of content. So it was a great way to kind of deep dive into him as an artist and showcase that human story to allow connection.
All right. Let me just jump in one sec. How long would you let it run, post something, let it run before you decide, is that working? Do we need to try something else, emphasize something else?
I mean, sometimes it depends on the piece of content, but we would normally have benchmarks for like 1 day, 3 days, 7 days, 10 days, and we'll kind of look at that. And if it's not hitting most of those benchmarks, we're just like, okay, cool, move on. Try something else. Try a different piece of content. Don't try and flog dead content, basically.
Yeah, just to add to the narrative building that you were talking about, I think Meta has a lot of different products to help with that. You just mentioned them. We've got music in carousels that really allows you to create a narrative, a story when you go on tour, when you have like something to talk about your album. That's actually a great way to get people to follow your narrative. But there's also like Instagram stories that allows you to create content every day and get people to catch a glimpse onto your moment. And I think, you also briefly mentioned that, but the data element to it is super important. And I think it was maybe a few weeks ago, we launched additional insights into Instagram. So when you go there, you have now the ability to see actually at which moment of your carousel people have started to like your content. And that will allow you to understand better how to refine your content strategy to deepen your connection with your audience.
You can also see, if you like click into it, you can see the music that your audience or people similar to your audience are listening to the most. And so use those same music in your clips or carousel, and it'll reach that same audience. But sorry, I'm so bad at what was the question again? So I can,
we'll repeat it every time for you.
Thank you.
So we had the awareness phase.
We talked too
This
long.
is the connection phase, how to make a fan who's aware of an artist, how to make them a long-term fan, or maybe more passionate.
I like that question. I think our job as like a content publisher in the space is, you have the labels and the artists are all doing the really cool stuff, really cool music videos, but our job is how do we show the authentic side of these artists? And so we do a lot of podcasts, a lot of talk shows, we have variety games, we just have content that kind of shows these artists in like their most, I would say, relatable selves. So seeing them play little challenges with each other, building that chemistry with themselves and also with their fans, I think that is like that second layer of engagement that's really important to, I think, just build a relationship with that audience, because that audience wants to know who is this person that you're asking me to support, to go to their tours, to wear their merch. And they often want to identify with people that I think resonate with the values that they also have for themselves, right? And so I kind of look at artists and celebrities as icons. They are a role model to the people that look up to them, that support them. And so the more that you can showcase who that person is and what they stand for, what their story is, it just attracts the people that value them. And it's not going to be everybody, but you're going to find like that core tribe, and it's important to build those super fans through that. And I think a lot of it comes from content. Yeah.
Can I just say on that as well? I think just that connection stuff is so important, because of all of those content strands that we had. Sadly, the content strand which related the most was all the sad stuff, is what people really tapped into.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so that was a piece that we ended up creating more and more content around, which also felt terrible. But it's in the long run, it's going to be beneficial for the artist. But that was what people really connected with.
Wow, so we can psychoanalyze people and decide that they're all very sad. No, I mean, I think it is something that connects people humanly, tragedy or sad things in their life. Right, so we have the awareness phase where you're creating a new fan. You have the connection phase where they become hopefully a long-term fan. And then, of course, in some ways, this is the most important, or they're all very important phases. But what do you think is the most effective way to nurture this to become super fans, right? Between moments, you need to create that super fan that's going to go out there. Maybe we could call this the fan conversion, the conversion phase. I'm going to start with Brian, so you remember the question.
Thank you. I think the Korean music industry has done this probably the best to what I've seen. And even building a media company, we pretty much took the entire K-pop playbook and we applied it to our business. And we're not even like an artist or even like a person. We're just a brand that puts out content. But I think what we saw is that our job is to bring the people, like-minded people together, and then give them the resources and the platforms and the tools to connect with each other, right? It's all about community. And so for us, we knew that our content resonates with this specific demographic. It's like 80% female, Gen Z, they love K-pop, they love Korean culture. Now let's put them all into a Discord room. And that's what we did. And our Discord channel is over 50,000 members. And it's people that are just talking about our content. And we're not musicians. This is just like a media company. And if a media company can do this, like an actual person, an artist could absolutely do this. And I think what we do is we just create the environment. We let them connect with each other. They have like listening sessions together. Some of them meet up in person. And I think that's like the most important thing, is to like build those bonds. And I think that's our job as like the musicians or as the platforms, is to build those relationships. And then they kind of deepen the engagement themselves. And they're the same fans that are going to be the ones to repost your music video or your new song. They're going to clip your music, and they're the ones that really are the engine behind. They're your number one distribution engine. And so I think that is like the key. Build the community, give them just a place to commune and to be together. And then, if the artist can pop in every now and then and say hi, like that just helps a lot. Yeah.
Maybe Dona, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of tools that we have as well to help that direct communication line. And I think like content that you create, for example, with your studio helps fuel that communication line. We have launched Instagram broadcast channel, WhatsApp channel. So there are like communication lines that you can create for your fans. You have a direct way to discuss with them and get, their support or their reactions to understand better that connection. There's also like other tools that we have that allows that direct feedback. It would be like live, for example, that artists can use on Instagram, on Facebook, so that they can share, the biggest moments that they have, like a new release or I don't know, things that they talk about on Discord, for example, and that kind of content can fuel this kind of moments in life. So I think that's for us as a platform, that's our job to create this kind of tools that will enable that communication line.
Yeah, and I think for us from a label perspective as well, our role is to kind of build out that communication strategy for the artists as well, so that they can continue to focus on the music. And so, for what, like, I think even in, we look at it like an old school email CRM kind of contact plan, but we do it through the channels which are relevant. So, for Malaysia, for example, they don't use email; they want to use WhatsApp. Yeah. So we build out WhatsApp channels, and we build out content plans for the artists. We do it from a label perspective as well to essentially just nurture them, because it's not about getting them to stream more or watch more. They're already doing all of that for us. So it's about how do we nurture them and how do we reward them. So we'll work with the artist management team and work with the artist to get drafts of their lyrics that they first wrote and send that as a picture to kind of give them that they want the inside track. Yeah. These are your super fans. You don't need them to stream, or you just want to kind of nurture them. So it's just all about rewarding them. And I think for us also, I think when you were talking about fan groups, we haven't got any Discord channels across Asia, but Facebook groups is that like fan groups is like really big for us, especially in Vietnam as well. And so sometimes when we're running competitions to get people to do flyaways or meet and greets and stuff like that, sometimes we used to pay for it, but we actually see a much higher return in terms of engagement and entries when we're actually doing it through the fan groups as well, because as you say, they're our free marketing force essentially.
Right. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, in each territory you have to localize it, right? It's extremely important, obviously. It goes without saying, but it's good to remind people, figure out what channel or what platform that particular music culture uses and focus on that. Great. So we have the awareness phase, we have the connection phase, we have the conversion phase. So now we're on to the fourth phase, and that, of course, is to take a fan from being engaged to being a true ambassador of the artist. Maybe we can call it the advocacy phase. I don't know if that quite fits, but anyway, something along those lines. Dona, maybe you can speak to that.
Yeah, I guess, this phase is about empowering fans to share their passion and their love for you. And so the idea is really like at least as a platform, is to provide the tools that will allow the fans to express that interest and their passion and to start conversation. And so hopefully, labels and other artists can see this also as a marketing tool. Like, the fans become their marketing ambassadors in some way. But yeah, so our job is to make it possible. And so we have launched a bunch of products that allow that. We've got, for example, music status on WhatsApp, which you mentioned earlier. And obviously, WhatsApp is a big app for us in Southeast Asia, and it's been very popular across a lot of the countries here. So it's been very nice to see how people use music in their status. We also have the music that you can share on Instagram DM. So, like people now have the ability to share a message privately and add a song inside their DM. We also have music in notes. So, like think about like MySpace, for example, when like you want to add a song to your profile as well, or your notes, people can see what kind of music you are listening to at the moment, and it can just trigger some conversation. And then we recently did a lot of partnerships with Spotify. So now you have the ability to add a song that you've discovered on Reels to add on your Spotify playlist, your playlist. But you also have the ability to share what you've discovered on Spotify to Instagram, on Instagram notes, as well as on Instagram messages and stories. So that's for us a good way to get people to convert into loyal fans.
Right, ambassadors, yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're right. We do see those as the true mark of fans as ambassadors. I think for us as well, it's getting the people to that stage as well, and it definitely goes back to just making sure that you're finding that right audience for your artist. And then if you do all of the stuff that we've just talked about, then trust in that process. But it really does come down to making sure that you're finding the right audience and giving them the right content to connect with them. I think sometimes the other ways that we see fans, kind of being ambassadors for our content is when they're using it in their own posts. And that's getting shared, and then you've got fans who are driving huge volumes of views on our official sounds, which is great. And so sometimes when we see that content really reacting, we'll reach out to them, we'll do boosts, and for us that's kind of our reward of their advocacy, and also kind of trying to make sure that we're encouraging more UGC because it's so important.
Wow. Brian, do we need the question, or are you good?
No, I think I got it. You got it? I tried really hard to. Yeah, I think I got it. Ambassadors, that's what it was.
All right. Making progress.
No, I think it kind of touches back on, I think it was like the second stage that we had talked about, but I think it's like, it comes down to like, to me, values of like going back to becoming and making the musician somebody that their fans are proud to really represent and talk about and share with others. And that can mean a lot of different things. It could be how they look or their music style or whatever it is. Actually personal values could be another thing. And I think that is a very important element to just making your fans comfortable talking about you and really kind of being the most authentic version of yourself. And then I think from a more tactical point as well, it's like when I look at K-pop or just like collaborations between artists, it's a really smart way of simply doing a dance challenge together. It's like, oh, this artist, my favorite artist, did this dance challenge with this artist. They must like them, and I kind of like them now too, right? And it's kind of like, to me, it's like a values thing. Like this person I already really love and adore. Also, they're like look like they're friends. Like they hang out and like they're dancing together, and they, the music's great, and it kind of like it has this like ripple effect across fandoms. And so I think that's like those collabs and those authentic moments that you can share fans across between artists is a very easy way to kind of build awareness and just kind of reach new audiences. And then also like by that celebrity endorsing their music, it makes the fans more like open to doing their own dance challenges and participating.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that you said, it's like you get groups of people to like it. You like it, so you get your friends to like it, and that's what the advocacy phase is about. So there you go. You have the four phases: awareness, connection, conversion, and ambassadorship or advocacy. Yeah, I think that's really great insights. We only have a couple of seconds left. Does anybody have any final comments they'd like to add, or has we summed it up?
I gotta say, I think Meta is amazing. I genuinely love Instagram. It's the best. I use it. Yeah, it's my favorite app.
Hold on, wait, are you getting paid for this? Because
no, I actually genuinely not. But I will say, I have found Instagram is where our most loyal fans are.
Wow,
like
that's true.
Time and time again, it's like it seems like the people that our content reaches on Instagram are genuinely the people that we want to reach, and that shows up in conversion rates, whether it's like newsletters or pushing them to do different things. It is genuinely the platform that we prioritize. So. This is, I'm not being paid. Yeah, but genuinely. Yeah.
Great, no, that's fantastic. Brian, anything you want to add, or did we cover it all?
No, all good.
You don't love us? Come on.
I think Meta is amazing. I think Dona is incredible.
It's praising.
Yeah. Dona's even more incredible than Facebook.
Yeah.
A big round of applause for my expert panel. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Rob.